Okay, okay. I think we're live. I think we're live. Today's the 13th of January 2023, and I'm just doing a quick review. I think the session's probably going to last about 10 minutes. So finally got the app onto the Oculus device. This is version 1 of the Oculus, but it's just what I have access to at the time being for the time being, and finally managed to get the app onto the Oculus, which is fantastic. Um, hmm. So we had some major issues the past couple of days, but again managed to resolve them. So this is the app. Um, Now, even for me, this is the first review. So literally, I went into the device and just recorded moving around and trying to get a feel for the readout, the look and feel, primarily the look and feel. We're using a 16K texture map, which is technically not allowed by the platform. Um, and I wanted to be able to see one if I could do it, because the advantage of being able to do it means I can chunk up that 16K map into multiple 2K maps, which means you can get a lot more done. So, this is the environment. The first thing that my eyes are drawn to is this shimmering effect that is taking place on the geometry. It could be because there's a lot of metal workflow. Um, I know for certain there's a lot of metal workflow, and that's going to mean that there's going to be specular, a lot of specular highlights. But if you notice, nearer to the camera, like the lights are stable. There's less flickering. But if you're looking out into the distance, a matter of fact, it doesn't even look that bad on the video. But when you actually have it in VR, you're getting a lot of what I call shimmering. It's some kind of a distortion. And I remember even like looking at the stairs from a distance. Yeah, you can see. So look way out in the distance at those stairs. It's like the readout is not stable, right? So like how you're seeing the stairs as we're going up the stairs here now, it that's pretty fixed, right? But way out in the distance, the calculations for the graphics, um, as it stands now, there's a lot of shimmering. Um, and even here, if you look at the base near to the floor, it could just be that, I'm a stickler for detail, but you shouldn't be getting all this shiny feedback. Now, right now, this is real time lighting. There is one directional light in the scene. Um, I'm also encountering a scenario where the collision geometry is allowing the camera to go into the geometry, which is not correct. So I need to kind of, how can I say, get the geometry expanded more into the scene so that when the camera goes up against it, it'll stop it from kind of cutting through the geometry. Um, so I'm just investigating that now. I think this is the first time that I've encountered that. When it's on the PC, the focus wasn't so much about testing things like the collision geo. It was really just trying to get the environment up and running. I mean, all these prefabs for the environment, it'll run on a PC, and it will run on a high-end desktop. But because this is an Android device, the Snapdragon processor is what's actually being used. You got to take all that into account. The pipeline is very different from a traditional gaming PC. And so we kind of got to get that right. So effort's going to be spent looking into what's causing that issue and try to overcome it. One things I'm noticing here is a lot of Z fighting on these decals on the floor. I'm not getting that on the PC. So it's either I'm going to need to remove the decal workflow or find out why I'm getting this Z fighting here. I mean, it looks pretty good. But also another key thing is the frame rate. Uh, is it the frame rate that's the issue, and why we're getting this kind of Z fighting issue? Because if you look a lot of other geometry, even if it's near together with like the floor, you're not getting Z fighting. But the decals for certain, every decal that's been placed on the floor throughout the level uh, is showing some kind of Z fighting and a lot of flashing. Whereas the other geometry is stable. Outside of the shimmering in the distance, it's stable. So for the most part, um, really happy to even to get to this stage because hey, that's 4 years, right? Um, it's like you can do a proof of concept and get the scene up and running in a couple of days. But if you're trying to actually build out something for production, there's no kind of demo, there's no prototyping. This is what you're pushing for, So, um, the last year and a half, I was focused on corporate work, and so no energy was going into the VR build. And so this is kind of like a big moment. I should be like celebrating. There should be a party or something, right? But yeah, definitely a big achievement. And it was quite scary. So like yesterday, the app wouldn't even get onto the device. When I managed to get it onto the device, it immediately crashed. I think earlier in the week, at one point, I did get it onto the device, but only the right eye was rendering. The left eye was just black, and it's like, no, you just put all this energy for like 2 3 years, and this thing's dead. So, but Spirit's like, come on, focus. And after a bit of a depression cycle yesterday, it's like, no, we're gonna push at this, and upgraded Unity, then downgraded Unity. That broke the shaders, and then had to figure out what was wrong with that. And I think it took maybe it was about 11 o'clock last night that it finally got onto the device. So for the whole day, you're fighting and chiseling at it, and this is a good readout. It's a let's put it this way. Um, just the environment alone, without the NPCs, without the zombies, without anything else, was getting 30 frames per second on a PC, on a laptop, on a laptop. So the idea to have this on a smaller device after the optimization and then get some kind of feedback like this, and this is just starting point. So it's using real time lighting right now. We got to get some directional lighting going. Um, Still encountering the camera going through the geo in some instances, but we know we have a very good idea as to what needs to take place to get that kind of fix. So again, just exploring the level. Um, now, I think there are 10 levels in this, but I'm just focusing the energy on one. And even on this build, I didn't delete the other 9 levels. So in the background, uh, all that geometry is sitting there. So all that calculation and culling is taking place for all 10 levels in total. Um, so hopefully once I remove those geo and put them in their own scene, then we might get some better performance. But if you look on it, I mean, upfront, looking at the walls and the prefabs there, a kind of sci-fi effect, it's a good readout. Um, and again, work needs to go into removing the real-time lighting and then bringing that onto bake lighting or bake lighting workflow. So we just fell through the floor there. That was semi-expected. The collision geo is set up for all levels, but the placement between the levels, I don't think that's part of the export from Houdini. But that's where we are right now. And so we're going to leave things there for now, and further update to follow. All right.